Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your time, allowing me to take the floor. Just a little, I'm not going to provide a curriculum vitae on me, so to speak. I am a SF combat veteran. I've been with the Constable's office here going on about 18 years, total law enforcement and military experience, about 24, 25 years. Okay, this is my third administration that I've been through here at the Constable's office. All right. We will continue to serve our constituents of this county and of this state, no matter what goes on. Okay? Us as deputies have a job to do, but I can honestly say that the constable before y'all, we strive every day to go out there, perform our duties as mandated by state law, to serve and to protect the constituents of this community. I would just ask in prayer before any further actions ado, that you take into consideration all the facts that are there in front, whether they've been discovered yet or not. I would just ask you in prayer to discover those facts before moving on with any kind of removal of an elected official. Once again, Judge, Commissioners, thank you for your time.
Thank you so very much, Mark. Jeremy Minor.
Good morning, Judge Wolf. Esteemed Commissioners, my name is Jeremy Minor, and currently I serve as a lieutenant with the Precinct 2 Constable's Office. I'm here today on behalf of, and at the request of, Constable Michelle Barrientes Vela. There have been allegations made regarding the constable and her handling of a situation in Rodriguez Park during Easter. Common perception is that the constable acted in an unprofessional manner and extorted money from an individual. I'd just like to summarize some key points which you should be aware of, and these points should help alleviate some misunderstandings which have been reported by news outlets and other venues. Per the constable, upon taking office in 2017, Constable Vela was informed that as part of her duties as the elected official, per the commissioners, she was to include providing security at Rodriguez Park. Other constables' offices were also assigned a specific park or parks. Any hours worked in the capacity of security at a park function is usually done outside the purview of a deputy's normal duty hours and duties. The deputies work these functions off duty, and as such, they are not paid by the county through payroll. Payment is made directly to whatever deputy works that function, and the pay is not taxed. A portion of the pay is not deposited into a 401k or similar type of fund, and wages are not garnished for things such as child support. At the end of the year, the deputy is expected and should report these earnings as part of their tax return when they file it with IRS. On the date in question, it has been stated that the parks were free and open to the public, and if this was true, why then were fees collected by employees of the county who work at the park, both from the constable and from other individuals utilizing the pavilions? The constable has already mentioned that she herself had made arrangements to secure a pavilion. She paid for the pavilion, had receipts to show the payment was received. On the day of, it was determined there was an error made. She went along with the fact that there was an error. People are human. Humans do make mistakes. She did not contest it, did not argue it, was offered a solution to allow her family to still participate with the Easter events there at the park. She followed through with that other option. She paid for that other option. At no time, again, did she argue with it. And even in speaking with an employee from the park, that employee confirmed that, yes, those are the facts. Yes, I did make a mistake, and yes, you were gracious enough to make accommodations to work around the error, and you paid everything you were supposed to pay. We did not afford you any benefits. The party that held, or the other individuals that held the party at the larger portion of the pavilion, failed to contact the constable's office prior to the day of the reservation and had not inquired whether or not they would need any deputies based on the number of attendees or based on the presence of alcohol. It was later determined that security would be required, and since it fell on a holiday, the fee would be $50 per deputy, but based on what the constable said, that's not what was actually charged. Typically, officers who work side jobs, in addition to their normal duties and duty hours, customarily seek 1.5 times their normal pay when they work a side job. When these jobs fall on a holiday, it's customary to ask for 2 times their normal pay. Had the individual followed the established protocol, then there would not have been any surprises on their part when it came to the cost of security for this event. At no time did the constable extort or attempt to strong-arm any individual based on her testimony. Her actions were in line with the established procedures within her office. She did not deviate from these procedures, which have been in place and implemented from the beginning of her term in this office. The majority of these allegations have been voiced through media, these stories are typically one-sided and presented from a biased perspective based on what they're trying to go ahead and obtain. Constable has never been afforded the opportunity for due process in a court and has been tried and found guilty on social media. I would just like to urge you to please take the time and review the actual facts surrounding these allegations. Please do not jump to any conclusions without reviewing the totality of the situation and base it off of fact and not of personal opinion. And with this, I'd like to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. Take care and God bless.
Thank you very, very much. Chief Deputy Castillo.
Good afternoon. I know everybody's hungry by now. What I wanted to speak about is just touch on a few things. I'm not here to criticize anyone. I believe the media does that good for all of us. Doesn't matter what position or where you're at. It tends to maybe delete some of the stuff, maybe even add stuff to it. Slogans, headlines, to attract the readers. And I had talked to the constable, and I told her, you need to just stay undaunted. In this time that you're going through, they're going to throw all sorts of stuff at you. You just got to stay vigilant, stay firm, and just keep going forward, no matter what happens. As a chief deputy constable, that name is just very small because, you know, when I say, oh, I'm the chief deputy, oh, you're a constable. Oh, you're a constable. This happens to be from the top. This comes from the top. It doesn't start somewhere where the constables are at. It starts from the top. And so we have to start being professional about how we treat all law enforcement agencies, not just the constables, not just Commissioner's Court, not just any other department, because the fact is we're not a department. We're an office. We hold the office just like any other office here in Bexar County. And with such, we have to stay with that with dignity, trust, honesty. The people that were placed there, Bexar County has some great individuals working for them. Commissioners, every single one of y'all, someone entrusted you to be there. Same thing with the constable. She was placed there. So I would think that the person you see in front of you has that honest and integrity within her. I lived about 2.5 blocks from Elizondo, and I actually went to school, and he was the band instructor. And if I were to tell you stories, you'd be, that's not who he is, because that's not who he was now. Well, that's the same with everybody here. That's not who those people are. I also live a couple of blocks, I live 2 houses down from Commissioner Rodriguez. I have a large family in Precinct 2. I have a large distant family throughout Bexar County. And I had told the constable many times, I said, you know, you need to run for sheriff. I know quite a bit of people, not much, but you know what? Do we have a chance? I think so. I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of hope. They say, can you do it? You know what? You got yourself here. Every single one of us, no matter what office you're sitting. I was appointed. And I know there's some, I've called other agencies, and they go, well, I'm the director. And one of them happened to be Ms. Boucher. I don't know if she knows this, but I'm appointed. Like she's a director. So we're probably in the same area. Because the ones that should be holding office are the commissioners, the constables, and the sheriff. Those are elected positions. I'm an appointed position. So with such, I don't ask for respect. I demand the same respect you do. And I'm entitled to it. I had talked to, Tommy Calvert, Commissioner. The last time we spoke, we talked about body cameras, and this is why it's important that I bring this up right now. Body cameras was introduced. Mary Quinones was there. It's actually recorded, so if you want to replay it, I'd be more than happy to bring it all to you, but it's on Commissioner's Court hearing. It was introduced about the body cameras. Constable's offices, also Chico Rodriguez, Commissioner, was also talking about that, about all the offices having body cameras. At that time, the Sheriff's Office was contemplating on their issues or uses of body cameras. We were not having that issue. In 2007, ours and many other constables had the same video system, and we were more happy just to upgrade it or get some body cameras added to it. That's all we were asking for. I actually made a presentation, and one of the things I said in there, I said, I also believe that the county is going to be held accountable and with liability. Why did I say that? It's because of the fact that this is what happens. The park system, the Leon Valley. We can't act like we don't know about that. And one of the things they said was, Leon Valley's a municipal police. They were under the county. Well, let me tell you something. We're Bexar County constables. We're not a municipal city. So with that, the county should protect its officials, its people, and then the umbrella of other agencies. Now, I'm not going to bring up what was done and said, because actually all of that was fictitious and misleading and misinformed people. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now that if we would have had those body cameras today, we would not be in this situation right now. So I think the commissioners today should not vote about all this other hoopla about what's going on. We should vote today about body cameras, because it's coming up in days and age. One video shows one type of event and the other one shows a different type of event. We need to show the community, be transparent, be upfront of what's really going on. You know, I told the constable.
Could you wrap up?
Yes,
Could
sir.
You wrap up?
I told the constables to call the commissioners and come over there. I welcome you and open the doors of the constable's office just like she does. I welcome the community and all they do, but I really would seriously want y'all to think about what I'm just asking, is to vote on transparency. I appreciate your time, commissioners, and I'm really grateful.
No,
thank you
very much. Ricardo James.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Judge Wolf, and Commissioners. My name is Richard James, and I've been a police officer for 40 years. I need you to know that because of what I'm going to present here. I hold a master's degree in clinical psychology. I've worked as outpatient psychiatry for 20 years, and there's a reason for me telling you that. Because I want to talk about the council, I'm going to talk about her character. Is this off base here? Okay, let me see if I can take these glasses off because I can't see. I'm also a retired Army sergeant, if I didn't mention that to you. I've known the constable for 13 years. She was one of my students at the academy 13 years ago, and as a student, I recognized, when she was a student, I recognized right away that this woman had some good qualities. We had 125 cadets at the academy at the time, but Constable Vela stood out for her leadership qualities, her ability to communicate, her ability to lead, guide, and direct other people during the course of her academy. She was so strong in her personality and so outgoing and so friendly and willing to work with people, I promoted her to class leader, which she held for a long time. Go a year later, and this Constable Vela, ended up to being one of the top graduates of the class, graduated in the top 25% of the class. So I know Constable Vela. When she graduated, I sought her out and I asked her, would you come and work for me? I was the chief of police at the time of a local municipality here in Bexar County. She said, I want to be a constable. I want to go look at a constable. I said, please consider me later on. A couple of years later, I sought her out again. I asked her, would you consider coming to work for me? She said, yes. So I hired her as a municipal police officer, and immediately she began to show her leadership qualities and skills, and I promoted her then to a shift supervisor right away. I know Constable Vela as a smart, hardworking, honest, dedicated professional woman who cares about it. Now, she didn't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it now. She cares about the community, and with her own family and with her own money and with her own time, this is what she's done in the last year, spent her own monies to have Easter egg hunts for the children in the community. And she advertises with her own money. Her and her husband, by the way, and her family, which are extremely supportive of her. She's done the Blue Santa projects and buys out of her own pocket presents for kids who don't have as much and families who don't have as much. She has Easter egg parties for the kids and buys thousands of dollars worth of stuff of her own money, spending her own time with her family, going out and having Easter egg hunts. And then the big one that she does. And she never asks for praise. She never asks for approval or anything like that. She goes out and buys thousands of dollars worth of food, prepares them in her home, which is a lovely home and a big kitchen, by the way. Her and her family together fix these food plates, and they put them together and get in her cars, and they get in her cars, her and her family, her son, and she's got other kids besides, other children besides the one she has here, and she goes out and feeds the homeless. Do y'all know those things about her? You don't know those qualities about her, I'm sure. Not only that, she sees people who need clothes, or people who need blankets, or something else, and her and her husband and family go out and buy blankets for them. You know, for many years, 20 years, well, I've been a police officer, municipal police officer for over 30 years, I never had respect for the constable's office. I didn't appreciate them. I thought they were a bunch of fat, sloppy people who didn't do much of anything. And I'd badmouth them sometimes at the academy and say, don't become a constable. Then after I retired as the chief of police, the constable was the constable, and I sought her out and said, can I come to work for you? Reluctantly. And then I found out what constables really do. I can say to you that I believe from the bottom of my soul that these are the smartest law enforcement officers in this state. Smarter than a DPS trooper on the street, or smarter than any municipal police officer in the things that they do and the things that they have to know, or anybody else in between. Deputy constable knowledge is far beyond any other officers in this state, I would say to you. Now, let me just close this up.
Can we wrap it up here?
Yes, I will. Constable Vela, well, I'll just say this. I won't say any more about her. I've said enough about her. She's a wonderful, honest, decent person who all these officers and deputies respect and do not hesitate to work for her and want to continue to work for her and hold her in high esteem. So each of you commissioners, I invite each of you to come and spend some time with our deputies. Any of them, you can ride with any of them. Spend a day with them, spend 2 days with them, see what they do, go out on patrol with them, go out and serve processes with them, and see what they have to put up with. And I guarantee that you will appreciate them as well. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you all very much for coming up today. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.